everyone would go ahead and take a seat. Good afternoon. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for the 115th, 116th, and 117th South Carolina Highway Patrol training classes. I'm Captain T.K. Craig, the training unit commander for the Highway Patrol. Please remain seated as I present the graduates and transfer command. Sergeant Collins, present the graduates.
Class all present accounted for, ma'am.
Sarah, class 115, 116, 117, present and accounted for. Ready to transfer command.
Thank you, Captain. I accept command of these 66 new troopers. I will work diligent with them as they move into the field to their assigned troops. At this time, I'd like everyone to continue standing as we call for the invocation at this time. As we prepare for the invocation, we'll ask the color guard as they march forward and complete standing for the national anthem as it being played and the presenting of the colors at this time.
Request permission to host the colors.
Host the colors. You may be seated. As we complete the posting of the colors, at this time I would like Trooper Austin Chapman to come forward and deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask in your name today to watch over and to protect each and every one of us, and to guide us as we go through this next stage of our lives. Our days are filled with uncertainties and unknowns as we make quick and often life-changing decisions. Help us to be wise and to invoke all of our training and experience when it is needed the most. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity, for allowing us to serve those in our communities with fairness and kindness, and allowing us to be there when people need us the most. Lord, we know our work can sometimes be dangerous and stressful, so we ask to be placed in your care. Give us the strength we need to get through each day, and allow us to unite with our loved ones at the end of every shift. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Thank you to the South Carolina Highway Patrol Honor Guard for the posting of the colors, and thank you to Trooper Austin Chapman for that invocation. It is now time for me to introduce the Director of the South Carolina Department of Public Safety. It is my pleasure to introduce DPS Director Robert G. Woods IV. Director Woods is a 32-year law enforcement veteran serving 2 years with the Charleston Police Department and 29 years with the South Carolina Highway Patrol. During his time with the patrol, Director Woods was stationed as a trooper in Spartanburg and Charleston counties, was assigned as a staff instructor to the Highway Patrol Training Unit. He served as the commander of the Highway Patrol Emergency Management Unit, and most currently, he oversaw the patrol's administrative support sections as the Highway Patrol Major. He was appointed to serve as the acting director of the South Carolina Department of Public Safety by Governor McMaster on February the 1st of 2020, and was nominated by Governor McMaster on December 2nd of 2020 to lead DPS as the director. Director Woods graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in History from the Citadel in 1988 and completed a Master of Arts degree in Conflict Resolution from Columbia College in 2002. He also holds a Certified Public Manager credential. He is married to Michelle Woods. He and Michelle resides in Chapin, South Carolina, and are the proud parents of 5 children. Director Robert G. Woods, the Director of the South Carolina Department of Public Safety.
Thank you, Colonel. First of all, let me congratulate you on reaching this milestone, your official graduation. I want to thank you for your willingness to serve, and I want to thank your families for their willingness to sacrifice. I spent a considerable amount of time in the training unit, and as a result, I attended a lot of graduations. And I always promise myself, if I get an opportunity to speak at a graduation, I want to be short and to the point. And I'm going to keep that promise for y'all this afternoon. I'm going to be short and to the point. With that said, I've never been one to go off a script, and I've never been one to stand behind a podium. I'm sort of tied to this podium today, though, because the microphones are here as we live stream, so I'll try to stay as close to the microphones as I can, but I'm not going to guarantee you that I'm going to stay behind this podium. I'd like to move around a little bit. You know, it's often said that every generation of Americans has a particular event that occurs in their lifetime that they tend to remember where they were when that event occurred. They never forget where they were when they heard news that that event had taken place. For my grandparents, it was the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. For my mother and dad, it was the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. For me and my generation, it was the attack of 9/11. And I still remember exactly where I was when I got that news. I was a sergeant in a training unit, and if you can imagine at that time, of course, DPS, we didn't have a building in Blythewood. The academy here was a part of the DPS, and we had little modulars throughout this campus were our offices for the Department of Public Safety. In the training office, our modular was just out back of HP 111 and just directly behind where the current offices are. And I was sitting there at my desk. I was working on a lesson plan. I was a sergeant at the time. And Miss Betty Beckham, who was our receptionist, came back to my office. She stuck her head in the door and said, "Rob, I just heard on the news somebody flew a plane into a building or crashed into a building in New York City." I said, "Golly, that's got to be pretty bad." But just an unfortunate event. I went back to work, and it wasn't too much longer. Miss Betty came back again and said, "Rob, they just flew a second plane into the building. I believe it's the World Trade Center." So at that time, it started to really take shape for us collectively. This wasn't an accident, and this country was under attack. And as we learned throughout the day, of course, there was a plane that was flown into the Pentagon, and there was a plane that was headed for the Capitol building that was taken over by the passengers and flown into a field in Pennsylvania. I not only remember those events, but I remember the feelings that I had immediately following that event, and that were shared with me by my fellow Americans, right? Fear, shock, uncertainty. Those were immediate. This country never sustained an attack like that. We had an attack on this soil by a foreign power since the War of 1812. Now, certainly the attack on the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, that was on an American territory at the time. Hawaii wasn't a state, and on a military facility. This was very different. The United States historically has been buffered by 2 oceans, and we had a tremendous sense of security with that. Well, that was gone in an instant. The other feelings that I had, of course, and we shared as we went through this, is the anger that surrounded that event. That these people in these buildings were just mercilessly killed by these terrorists. But it wasn't long before that anger turned into resolve. And we began to understand that we were in fact being attacked by an adversary, and we had to come together as a country in order to defend not just our safety, but our way of life. And there were certain things in those days that followed, in those weeks and those months, that we really began to understand, especially about first responders and law enforcement, is number one, the sacrifice that's made by law enforcement and other first responders. Americans saw that firsthand. We saw it as a nation firsthand. We saw it in those heroic acts that were done by those first responders in New York City and at the Pentagon. It was amazing. But we also recognized a significant challenge, because we know that this war wasn't going to be fought and isn't fought exclusively in a foreign country. It was being fought right here in the United States, and it continues to be fought here in the United States. And what we had to recognize in doing that is, listen, how do we defend, how do we protect our safety without at the same time sacrificing our personal freedoms and our liberties? How could we, as a country that's governed by the rule of law, in which every citizen is entitled to due process and has equal protection under the law, how do we find these terrorists before they attack, and do that within the letter of the law? Do that within the letter of those constitutions that we have, state and federal, that we'll all swear to here in just a minute, right, that we'll support and defend. Well, of course, this weekend, I had the opportunity to reflect on a lot of those thoughts, but it directed me back, interestingly enough, to this very occasion, your graduation, and the understanding that law enforcement didn't just face those challenges then exclusively. We still face those challenges today. We face the challenge every day, you all do, of having to run into danger and not away from danger. We face the challenges every day as law enforcement officers to ensure that even when we're dealing with a criminal, and many of you all have already been out there, you've been doing the job, you've had to lock people up, you've done that, and understanding that we've got to protect the public from that criminal, but at the same time, we've got to ensure that his or her rights are protected. Because we know as soon as we start sacrificing one individual's rights and liberties, then the rest of us have our rights and liberties put into peril. So I said that to say this is a tough job. It's hard. Not everybody can do this job. Right? I'd love to stand up here and tell you that your time on the highway patrol, you know, every holiday or every day will be a holiday and every meal will be a feast, but that just simply isn't true. It's tough. It's a tough job. And it takes an exceptional person with exceptional commitment and a heart for service to do that job. That's what it takes. Now let's put that into perspective. How many people do you think in the United States have that level of commitment to serve their communities in that way? Well, I looked it up today. And depending on who you include in the classification of law enforcement officers, whether that's full-time, part-time, so forth, it's right around 1 million police officers for a country with a population of nearly 350 million. I'll allow that to be your homework assignment. You go and work the percentage on that, but let me just tell you, it's less than 1%. So I see Representative Williams back there in the back who served our country in Iraq. He could tell you too, those who actually serve in the military is less than 1%. Very few people rise to that occasion. But as I thought of that, I thought of this, and it's a quote by one of my personal heroes, Theodore Roosevelt. And if you don't know much about Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, I encourage you to do so because he was an absolutely remarkable man. But he said this at one point: "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows to the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat." That's you all. You all are the people in the arena. You all are the ones who are out there who are unafraid to do the tasks that others don't want to do. And I'm proud of your commitment. I'm proud of your willingness to serve. And I'm grateful to have you in the Department of Public Safety. Let me close by giving you this charge, and it's a charge I certainly try to share with all graduating law enforcement classes because, as I said, this job is tough. It's daunting. Okay? It can at times be discouraging. But always remember this: He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? But to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. Again, congratulations and God bless you.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate those encouraging words to our graduates here today. And unlike Director Woods, I made a promise to, but it wouldn't be that I would be short and to the point. Not as in height, you know. So I would like to say to each of you today, it is my pleasure to stand before our graduates today as we mark this important occasion and celebrate the graduation of Highway Patrol Basic Classes 115, 116, and 117. This is the second year that we have held graduation ceremonies in a virtual format. We recognize this is a special day and a milestone for you and your families. After your many weeks of sacrifice and hard work, I am sure you would have preferred to have your family here to celebrate alongside you. But as with most events during the time of COVID-19, we are learning new ways to conduct business. And even though the format is different today, we did not want to let this occasion pass without bringing you together as a group to let you know that we are proud of you and to let the public that we serve, to let them know that 66 new troopers are preparing to make our community safer all over the state of South Carolina. Let's give yourself a round of applause for that. And to your families joining us virtually, please accept my humble gratitude of your patience, love, and support. These men and women are able to serve because of your sacrifices at home. And while this day is certainly a different one due to COVID-19, graduation in whatever form it may take is an undeniably exciting day. Graduation marks a new chapter in your lives, full of promise, opportunities, and yes, challenges. But you are well trained and well suited to meet your mission when you leave this facility today. Before I address you, there are several groups of men and women I want to recognize here today. We realize that as an organization, we are dependent and indebted to many people for our successes as an organization. I am fortunate to have a strong command staff who works alongside me to make decisions critical to the direction and the operations of the South Carolina Highway Patrol. I'd like for the command staff sitting in the back to stand and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. And I'm sure by now that each of you knows that you have been trained by the best, the South Carolina Highway Patrol training staff. I would like to also recognize our Highway Patrol training staff, recruiting, and employment staff. Let's applaud them as they stand to be recognized. Training staff. Thank you. Thank you for the outstanding job you have done to recruit and prepare these classes to meet this challenge. You have made a significant investment in our graduates, grooming them for the oath they will take today, and you deserve to be commended, especially as you continue to adjust and train in the COVID environment. The South Carolina Highway Patrol is built on a solid foundation of men and women who have served before us. We owe a debt of gratitude to them for their investment in this organization. On behalf of the Highway Patrol, I want to express my sincere appreciation to our retirees who helped establish the foundation of the Highway Patrol. In their absence today, we will always continue to thank them. Thank you for the time you have spent mentoring our graduates and for your continued and unwavering support to our retirees. As we acknowledge those who served before us, we also remember those today who are no longer with us. Again, under normal circumstances, the families of our fallen troopers typically would join us for this occasion today. Please know that the 51 patrolmen and troopers lost in the line of duty will always remain a very special and important part of the Highway Patrol family. This past weekend, as you heard Director Woods talked about, we all collectively stopped as a nation and recalled that day 20 years ago that changed us forever. And now some of you who were just small children then stand ready to serve as well. I hope that we will never forget how special first responders, firefighters, and law enforcement officers are in our society. You are truly our heroes for heeding the call to serve. Each time I drive in on graduation day and look at that line of patrol cars, as many people pointed out today, how they are lined up and waiting for our graduates. It is a powerful image that reminds me of the day that I graduated from patrol school some 33 years ago. I'm sure every law enforcement officer in this room remembers their graduation day. That occasion is a mix of relief and uncertainty, but most of all, anticipation. I know you are ready to hit the road and get to work, but I urge you to enjoy this day and use it as a time to reflect on the path you took to get here. Reflect on who you were when you walked through the doors at the academy for the very first time. Now think of who you are as you leave here today. You have made a significant leap from trainee to trooper. I repeat, a significant leap from trainee to trooper. Today you leave the security of the training bubble and begin a difficult and challenging assignment in the midst of a global pandemic. You will grow and learn and make mistakes, but you will do that with your training in the forefront of your mind and a team always by your side, helping and encouraging you along the way. I think you would all agree that the training to become a state trooper is rigorous and challenging. Again, Director Woods pointed out, it's not an easy job. With each new trooper comes the hope that lives will be saved and security strengthened in our state. There are few careers where you have the opportunity to do something different and meaningful each and every day. As a trooper, you will be a hero as you show compassion to someone who has lost a family member. You will be a role model for young children. Those blue lights will be a welcome sight to a stranded motorist. But even with all of this, there may be days when you wonder if your efforts are enough. Please know that you will have a tremendous impact on the public you serve if you remain consistent and fair, and you will make a difference in the world as you serve from day to day. Sadly, we are well aware of how many lives are lost on our highways, but we will never know how many lives we save through our proactive enforcement and our safety efforts and initiatives. Today, you join an organization rich in tradition and pride, and when you walk across this stage, you will write a new chapter in our history and continue building on that same tradition. Your instructor has spoken with you many times over the course of your training about commitment, service, and sacrifice. The way you handle every traffic stop, every call for service is very important, not just to you, but to the integrity of this uniform and this organization. As an officer of the law, you commit yourself to a higher standard. You will have ups and downs, good days and bad days. But when challenging situations arise, you must remain in control of your actions. And believe me, your conduct on and off duty represent all of us who wear the uniform. The public we serve must be treated fairly and equitably by those sworn to protect them. As you take the oath of the office today, remember that the words you recite are a reminder that law enforcement holds the public trust. We act with the authority afforded us by the people we have pledged to serve. Let these words guide your actions as you go about conducting your law enforcement duties every day. Not just one day, but every day. Reflect on your core values as you meet challenges: selfless service, integrity, and responsibility. These are the guiding principles of South Carolina State Troopers. In closing, let me say I am proud of each and every one of you seated here today and the job that you have done thus far and the job that you all will continue to do. Along with Director Woods, I pledge to continue working hard on your behalf as we work together toward a safer South Carolina. May God bless and protect each of you and your families as you begin this new and exciting time in your career. Thank you. The oath of office will now be administered. I'll ask all other law enforcement officers and troopers to stand with us at this time as well. Class, I ask that you raise your right hand and take the oath of office. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution of this state to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been appointed. And that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge the duties thereof, and preserve and protect, and defend the Constitution of this state, and of the United States. You may be seated. Let's give them a round of applause. This time I will call Captain Craig, the training unit commander, to the podium for some special recognition of some awards at this time. Captain Craig, will you come forward? Also, Director Woods, if you would join me at the podium, sir.
At this time, I would like to present 3 special awards. A description of each award and their namesake can be found in your program. The Colonel P.F. Thompson Award is given to the trainee who displayed both academic and physical excellence during patrol school training. This award is presented to SCHP class Trooper Jeremiah Fogel.
Thank you, ma'am.
From SCHP Class 116, Andre Colon. From SCHP Class 117, Samuel Lawson.
Congratulations.
The Major Israel Brooks Physical Fitness Award is given to the trainee who excelled in physical strength and stamina and mental tenacity during patrol school training, and perhaps my burpees. This award is presented from SCHP Class 115 Trooper Thurman Lofton.
Thank you.
From SCHP Class 116, Andre Colon.
Long, congratulations.
From SCHP Class 117, Carlo Rouse, Jr.
Congratulations.
The Captain Cecil Dilworth Marksmanship Award is given to the trainee who excelled in firearms training and achieved the highest cumulative score during patrol school training. This award is presented for Class SCHP 115, Darius Brown. For SCHP Class 116, Andre Colon.
Three of them. Congratulations, man.
For SCHP Class 117, Austin Chapman.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Commissions. Stay standing. The troopers will now be presented their patrol commissions.
Left base, forward march.
There will be a video presentation at the end of the ceremony, and the DPS media unit will provide a photo for each trooper. HP Class 115, Caleb Austin, not present. Jacalian Berry. Picture. Darius Brown. Sierra Calamaris. Michael Cavallini. Trent Colley, not present. Daniel Kuhn. Daniel Dingler. David Dover. Jeremiah Fogel II. Michael Gargiulo.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Simon Grant, not present. Stephen Ham. William Hill. Bryce Johnson. Daniel Kemmer. Crew Langto, not present. Richard Lee. Anthony Lehman. Logan Link. Thurman Lofton. Jordan McClure. Caleb Meyer. Aaron Newman. Alan Oglesby. Keyshawn Orr. Jacob Packard. Kelly Sainson. Stephen Salerno. Zachary Summerford. Vanessa Todd. Mitchell Williams Jr., military leave. Robert Yates. HP Class 116, Connor Barr, not present. David Bolton. Christopher Cannon. Andre Cologne. Brandon Fiskus. Austin Foster. Brian Gordon. Arthur Gorey. Dalton Hoover. Christopher Johnson. Joshua McCowan. Altonia Orange, not present. Michael Phelan. Garrick Pridgeon, not present. James Rubert. Gregory Skipper. Andrew Smith, not present. Shaquanda Sweetman. HP Class 117, Benjamin Boyce. Austin Chapman. Michael Chiara Velotti. Saitiko Dai. Caleb Fort. Wesley Garvin. Alonzo Harrison. Kevin Hayes. Darius Haynes. Patrick Heinel. Samuel Lawson. Carlo Rouse Jr. Austin Settle. Colton Sheriff. And Mitchell Stansberry.
Great class. Ladies and gentlemen, let's applaud the graduates. At this time, please stand for the retiring of the colors.
Good head, right shoulder, left hip forward. Third, request permission to retire the colors.
Retire the colors. I would like to ask Trooper Jeremiah Fogel to come forward for the benediction. Following the benediction, there will be a short video presentation. Once the video presentation is complete, we will come back to the podium for closing remarks.
Let us bow our heads. For the ones who continue to fight danger so that others may avoid it, stopping bloodshed, holding the broken, shielding us from it all. To the ones who met the dark side of humanity so we can go on never knowing, you do not go unnoticed. You are prayed for. Your work is highly valued. You are our safety, our provision, our security in the darkness. Your compassion, your purpose, your blood, sweat, and fears, your courage, your sacrifice, your heartache, they are all seen. God is with you, never failing. In him may you abide. In Isaiah chapter 6, verses 8 says, Then I heard the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here I am, send me. When we take on this assignment, we must have courage and go with passion. Your will to serve never fading, promoting fairness, fighting evil, and defending innocent lives. God before you, God beside you, God taken upon the rear. You are heroes, our champions, our protection, always near. In closing, remember to take care of those that stand with you. Just because you see someone smiling, you never know what they're truly dealing with. Let's put our loving arms around one another and continue to uplift and stand in solidarity together. Amen.
You may be seated. congratulations again to SCHP Class 115, 116, and 117. Thank you to the SCHP training staff for a job well done. Captain Craig, thanks to each and every one of you for your commitment into completing our training, and I now welcome you to the ranks of the South Carolina Highway Patrol. Give yourself a round of applause. I'd like to recognize the training staff here at the Academy, the staff at the Academy, Director Swimmer, and thank him for allowing us to use his facility again for another virtual graduation in this time of COVID-19. We truly appreciate you allowing us to use your facility. Also like to recognize Representative Robert Williams with the South Carolina House of Representatives legislators here today. Representatives, thanks for joining us and seeing what the Highway Patrol graduation is all about, sir. Thank you very much. This time, I appreciate everyone that have attended here today. Appreciate Director Woods and everything that he's done as a director in help pushing along the equipment and resources that we need to do our job day in and day out. And we'll continue to work hard and drive on. This time, I'd like to give our training commander, Captain Craig, one last honor of addressing classes 115 and 116 and 117. Captain Craig.
Thank you, Colonel. I would like to quickly address the members of SCHP training classes 115, 116, and 117. Success demands 6 things. Hard work. When you put in the work, your reward will come from within. Sacrifice. For others, because that this is the path that you have chosen. 3, faith. Believe in yourself and believe in others. 4, struggle. Sometimes this is hard, but once you struggle and work hard, you will overcome adversity. 5, patience. Remember, your time will come. And 6, passion. Love what you do, not for the accolades, but for those who trust you with their safety. I know the troop commanders are excited for your arrival. Remember, choose to believe in honor and sacrifice, courage through the danger, and strength in your struggles. There will be burdens and risks, but keep your faith, keep your hope, and keep your courage. You are the peacekeepers. Sergeant Collins, dismiss the class for the final time.
Class, on your feet. Prepare to cover. Cover. Ready? Move! SCHP training class 115, 116, 117. Have you been properly trained and prepared to be one of South Carolina's finest? Yes, sir! Thank your instructors for the final time. Sir! Class 115, 116, 117. Appreciate, motivate, dedicated, hardcore. Come on, sir! Dismissed!
That concludes our program. Thank you to everybody.